Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name is Bob, I'll be your host. Over the years, White Wolf put out a bunch of different games under its World of Darkness line. They had Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage the Ascension, Hunter the Reckoning, and they had Changeling the Dreaming. But then they ended their World of Darkness line and came out with a brand new World of Darkness, in which they re-envisioned their old games, brought them into this new World of Darkness. Vampire was now Vampire the Requiem. Werewolf was now Werewolf the Forsaken. Mage was now Mage the Awakened. Hunter was now Hunter the Vigil. And Changeling was now Changeling the Lost. And that's what we're going to look at in this video. We're going to look at Changeling the Lost, first edition. This book has 349 pages and a copyright of 2007. It was published by White Wolf Publishing, and all of the artwork in this book is in black and white with a lot of green in it. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white with some green tinge. And the artwork is pretty decent throughout this whole book. And it goes a long way to setting a proper tone and mood for this game. And here's a changeling that looks like he's properly ready to mess somebody up bad. To play this game, what you're going to need is, of course, a copy of this book for Changeling Lost, and a copy of the core rule book for the World of Darkness game, and as many 10-sided dice as you can get your hands on. The World of Darkness book will give you all the core rules for actually playing the game, and give you all the rules you need to make up a character. And I've talked about this book in another video, so you can look there for that. But then with the Changeling book, it gives you all the rules to put a template over that character so that it's now a changeling. And it gives you all the rules and stories and stuff that come along with Changeling Lost. We'll go ahead and go over character creation real quick, even though it's covered in another video and in another book. The first thing you do is figure up your attributes, your abilities. And your abilities are broken up into 3 categories, and they are your mental, your physical, and your social abilities. And each of these have 3 listings under them, giving you a total of 9 abilities. You have intelligence, wits, resolve, strength, dexterity, stamina, presence, manipulation, and composure. Each of these abilities start with 1 dot for free in each of them. And then you have to pick a prioritized category, either your physical, your mental, or your social. And whichever one you give priority to, you get 5 more dots to split up amongst those 3 attributes, not counting the dot you get for free. Your next most important will get 4 dots, and your least most important will get 3 dots. After you get your abilities figured out, you'll figure out your skills. Your skills are broken up into 3 categories: mental, physical, and social. And the skill list in the World of Darkness game is condensed compared to the old World of Darkness. You do not begin with any free dots in any of these skills, not like the abilities. Instead, you pick a priority category, either your mental, your physical, or your social. Your most important category will get 11 dots to split up amongst them. Your next most important will get 7, and your least most important will get 4. You then get 3 specialties that you can apply as you wish. You then pick a seeming. A seeming is pretty much what kind of changeling you are. And there are a couple of different seemings. There are the Beast, the Darkling, the Elemental, the Fairest, the Ogre, and the Weasand. And each of these will give you some blessings, some curses, and some different keys amongst those seemings that you can pick from. And you also get one specialty, either athletics, brawl, or stealth. You'll then pick a court that you belong to, and the courts are set up along the lines of the seasons. And the original one, you had Unseelie or Seelie. And this, it's pretty much set up with the seasons. You have the spring court, which is aligned with desire. The summer court, which is aligned with wrath. The autumn court, which is aligned with fear. And the winter court, which is aligned with sorrow. Or you could be courtless. You don't belong to a court. And these courts will, once their prospective seasons come along, a member from that court will be the head fairy, the head changeling in charge of the area at the time. So that's kind of nifty. You then get 5 dots for contracts. At least 2 of these dots have to be spent for contracts involving your seeming or your court. The rest you can spend as you please. You get 7 dots for merits, and you can use any of the merits found in the World of Darkness book, except for some of the supernatural ones. And it says which ones are off limits in here. And it's also got some new merits for changelings alone that you can pick from here, spend your merit dots on. You then figure out your health, which is equal to your stamina plus your size. An adult human is size 5 in the World of Darkness games. Of course, if you're playing a child, you're smaller. Or if you're some freak of nature, you might be bigger. But there's a merit for that. Your willpower is equal to your resolve and your composure added together. Your defense is equal to the lower of your dexterity or wits. Your initiative modifier is equal to your dexterity and your composure added together. Your speed is equal to your strength plus your dexterity plus 5. Your starting Wyrd is at 1 dot. And Wyrd is kind of like a vampire's blood potency. And it tells you kind of how strong you are with your Fey abilities. And it goes from 1 to 5. You start off on 1, and you can raise it over time. Your starting glamour points start off at half of whatever the full is for your dots in starting Wyrd, which is usually 5 for a Wyrd of 1, unless you spend points to raise it at character creation. But that's between you and your game master. Glamour is a kind of points, almost like blood points, that you can spend to power your contracts and do a bunch of other weird things that Changeling accelerate in. This book goes in, well, that's pretty much it for character creation. You get you some equipment according to what your game master says, and that's pretty much it. This book goes over all you need to know about the changelings to get started. It talks about pledges, which is a different type of contract than the contracts your character buy dots in. They're more of a verbal deal you make, and icky things can happen if you break them and so forth. It talks about tokens, which are essentially almost magic items for the changelings, which is kind of nifty. It talks about the hedge. The hedge is very important. In the original Changeling and Dreaming, when you became a changeling, what it was you were born a changeling, and then once you hit a certain age or so forth, or event happened, it brought out your Fey nature and you became a changeling. Not so in this game. In this game, you're born a human, you live your life as a human. But then one day, you find yourself taken through the hedge. Either you accidentally wander into it, a Fey catches you on a true Fey catches you on a hunting party and pulls you through. And as you go through the hedge, your soul is ripped from your body. And when you come out the other side, you're now a Fey creature. When you come back, your soul's put in your body, back in your body, but you're not fully human after that. You're now a changeling, part human, part fae. And that's pretty nifty. Nobody misses you where you're going. Nobody comes to look for you. Nobody cares about you. Why is that? Because once you go through the hedge and your soul's ripped out, a fetch is created. The fetch lives your life for you, and nobody misses you, don't even know you're gone. And everybody believes the fetch is you. And time flows differently between the real world and Fey realm. You could be there for 10 minutes, come back, and it's 50 years later. You could be there for a half hour, come back, and only a minute has passed. Time is weird. It doesn't flow straight. It doesn't flow backwards. It just flows off. So when you come through, you gain a mask. You have a Fey self, which is what you look like now, but you have a mask that makes you look human. And it's not a physical mask, it's like a magical mask of you, and people see you and they only see the mask. Unless they're another changeling, then they can see through it. But your mask looks nothing like you used to look, so if you go around telling everybody that you're who you are, nobody's going to believe you. They're going to think you're a nut job. And a lot of changelings go after their fetches, blaming them. And some changelings make deals with their fetches, and it's pretty messed up. It's up to you how you wish to go about it. A lot of them just walk away because it's too sad. But there's a lot of horror elements into this. The old one billed itself as a horror fantasy game set in the modern age, and it was more goofy than it was horror. This one got a little bit more horror to it and is a little bit less goofy. And I like that. You've got some noble orders that you can belong to in here. You've got a character sheet in the back that you can photocopy and use. You have a setting / adventure in the back that you could run if you want, or come up with your own. And that's pretty much it. I really like this version of Changeling over the original. It's much more well done, and I haven't had a chance to play it much, but it feels a lot more workable, a lot more playable than Changeling the Dreaming ever did. Every game I've ever played in the Dreaming has ended the exact same way, with characters using their powers on each other to see who can be sillier. And that would bring some horrible, terrible consequences on you in this version of the game. So there's more to it. There's changelings being able to manipulate dreams and stuff. And that's pretty much it. So it brings me to 3 questions. Would I play a character in this game? And yes, I would. The modern fantasy horror kind of interests me a lot. It's just too bad I can't find very many players interested in actually playing. Would I run this game? And yes, I would. And I've ran the original Changeling a couple of times, and it never ended well. I don't know if it's me or the players or just the game. But I'd love to run this version of it. Would I recommend this book? And again, I'm going to say yes. Most people were disappointed with the New World of Darkness, which now is the Chronicles of Darkness, and all the books are in their 2nd edition. But I actually liked the New World of Darkness. I thought they did a lot of stuff right in it that was better than the old. But, of course, that's just me. But I would recommend you looking into this. It seems a lot better game, a lot more put together than the original Changeling game. So thank you for joining me at a look at this book, and hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.